Good morning, everybody. This is Richard back at you. This is how we start the morning every morning with this little girl hanging out in the shop. Are you hanging out today, Annie? Are you excited? She's excited every day to come out in the shop, let me tell you. She's so beautiful. We got Miss Teresa on the camera today. Always doing a wonderful, fabulous job. Tongue-tied.
Was that hard to say? Must not be easy since,
Feels a little warm in here today, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does.
It really does. It's going to be 80 degrees today.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty warm out.
You owe me a Coke.
Oh, you a Coke?
Yeah.
That's right. I did drink the only cold one in the house this morning, didn't I? But it was sweet and good. Cooled me
I bet
off.
it was. Thanks for leaving the extra.
Definitely. Hey, guys, I want you to go check out 4D Motorsports. It's my daughter and her husband's webpage. Really good page to go check out. 4D Motorsports. Go check it out. They just did some racing down in Dallas, down that area, and it was a lot of fun. Really, a lot of cars. I think
Yellow Belly, I believe.
Yeah, Yellow Belly. 70 cars showed up, so it was an exciting night.
No doubt.
Brennan had a little wild ride. Michael had a wild ride. So, actually, Alexis had a wild ride, I believe, too. Flat tire, blow out on the right side, tore up a wheel. Pretty exciting.
Blew up his rear end.
Russell tore up her rear end. So it was a costly weekend, but that's what
Megan did really good. Woo,
yeah, Megan did good. But it's a costly weekend, but you have to pay to have, you pay to play. It is what it is to have fun anymore. But anyway, we got a really exciting job in the house. We got Kevin's 2012 CTS-V in the house, twin turbo, 6-speed, 427, 64/66 millimeter twin turbos. This car makes way over 1,000 horsepower. I'm not sure what's wrong with this tranny. I know it's been run and abused a little bit, so I'm not really for sure why it's here. But anyway, we're going to be going through and putting a lot of parts in this thing. We're going to be Sonnaxing it to death. A lot of Sonnax parts. Kind of explain it. These trannies do have a lot of weak points in here, and we're basically going to be going after the 456 clutch. It's the smallest clutch in here, and the 456 clutch shaft is really bad about breaking. I want to show you this. So if it's easier for me to show you, because I don't have the new pieces here, I've got part numbers written down when I'm fixing to be ordering a lot of things tomorrow, so we can get this unit built. But you can come here and look at this book. This is a Sonnax catalog. Really nice. If you can get your hands on one of these, it's a really nice book to have. But you can see here the 456 clutch hub intermediate shaft. We're going to be replacing this whole piece right here to a 300M shaft, but we're going to go to the extreme duty. We're going to go to the 45 tooth count, where we can actually put power glide clutches in here. We're going to be doing the high capacity kit, which will come with pistons, a couple plates here. But we're going to be also putting the 45 tooth Borg Warner frictions and the wider steels. They give you two thicknesses, 78 and 90 thousandths thick, to get your clutch clearances right. But this is the upgrade we're going to also be putting. And then if you come over here and look, we're going to go to this page, the high capacity 3rd, 5th, and reverse apply ring. Now this is a lot stronger ring here. It's actually a little bit shorter, so we can actually add one more friction. So you can see here, eliminates the way plate to allow one additional friction. Anytime you can add an extra clutch, it's a must. Then also you get here the heavy duty 1, 2, 3, 4 piston. We're going to be replacing it. These are really bad about cracking. Going to get that out of there. And also we're going to be replacing the pump slide spring. This spring here is designed to keep the pump slide in the back position to where it will at higher RPM, it's capable of grabbing all the fluid and keeping the pump really full. So we got bushings, we got the zip kit. So we're going to be adding a lot of nice pieces to this tranny here to make sure it works and stays out on the road. Well, let's get this thing apart. I'm really excited to see what's wrong with it. Of course, we have our vent hose here. Tube, vent goes up to the top. Keeps any water from getting into it. We have the yoke. This is a bolt-on style. This had this plate in here like this. This actually goes on the drive shaft. This has got like a CV axle style drive shaft with a knuckle instead of a U-joint. And that just goes back on the end of it.
I actually thought that you put grease in that and threw that up there to just like
Oh, did you?
slap of grease. I thought, well, that's unusual looking.
We have a nut, or excuse me, a bolt that holds it on. Funny looking nut.
Yeah.
And we have this massive yoke here.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to see if I can get the tail housing off with, yep, I can. Wasn't for sure if my electric would do it. Now we did do one of these here a while back where we switched the tail housing over to a slip style yoke. That way we could use a 400 yoke out of a 400 tranny. Little massive bushing seal. You can see here your seal here that seals the splines. That way there's no oil that gets into here. Seals it right there. See that? If you notice here, we have no seal in the back here. If we had a four-wheel drive unit, we would have a seal right here. But since this is a two-wheel drive, they use the oil coming out of here to lubricate the bushing. This is not a pressurized bushing. It's a slung oil, so it's just sprayed back there to lubricate the tail housing bushing. Put some massive shafts in these things, let me tell you. Now he does have a Circle D torque converter in this multi-clutch, which the stall was way too low. It's like a 2500. The turbos didn't want to come up, kind of really laggy on the starting line. So we are going to go to like a 3800, 4000 stall on this unit. Still use a multi-clutch converter though. I'm going to use my air on these pan bolts here. It just spins them out a lot faster. With the air, it has enough momentum to spin them all the way out, where the electric, you got to keep it on to spin them out. They don't have that momentum to get them to screw all the way out. What I like about these two, they have a drain plug in them. Or actually, this is a fill plug here. What they do is they fill it all the way up until the fluid comes out here. If you notice, it has a stem on it. If you take the... Let me see if I can get that out there. I think that's a 13. Let me go get my 13. Actually, they have one here maybe. Did I grab a 13? Well, maybe it's a...
Basically, well, no, it's not a fill anyway.
No, it's a fill only.
It's a fill only.
Yeah, I'll show you. So basically you put this, you get this vehicle running, you fill this up until fluid runs out here, start it up. You can leave it in park on these here to fill them up. Just start it up, start pumping it in, and until go in there and run it through the gears a few times until it runs out here. You notice it has to fill up and run out the top of the tube and go down. It's not flush, so it has to fill up, run out. Once it gets full to here and it runs out, put the plug back in, then you're done. If you notice over here, on the side here is where the dipstick tube goes. But the problem you got is there's no dipstick tube. So this is a plug. Looks like it. Now, just saying, if you had this unit in something and you didn't have a pan right here, or a filler plug here, excuse me. If you notice, this right here is level with the pan gasket. It's level with the pan gasket. So in other words, what we got is we have a special stick right here. It's a multi-stick that we use to check these units when there's no dipstick tube. So what we do is we'll stick this in this hole right here to where it touches the pan, and if you look here, it's got numbers on it. So we know pan level, stick it down here like this, right there. When it's full, it's going to be like at a 90%. We like to get the unit up to operating temperature. Now if you have a cooler bypass kit right here, you should be able to check this tranny cold. If you don't, the vehicle's got to physically get totally warmed up, let the cooler bypass open up, and then start checking the fluid. So just remember, it is pan level. Nothing in the pan, actually some metal, more black than anything. Fluid don't really smell bad. Like I said, I really don't know what was going on with this unit. I'll unlock that. This is your park reverse neutral switch right here. You're going to take and slide that lock over. Then you're going to push right here on this little tab, which unlocks it, and then you're going to pull it out. If you notice, it has a little tab right here that sticks down in here in the valve body that holds the harness, and another one right here. So you got two of them that hold this harness upward. The filter does not come anywhere close to that. So you got that. Also right here, to unlock your harness that plugs in right here, this connector, you have to push up on this little piece right here and pull it up like that. I like to take and kind of take a small hammer and just kind of tap on this just a little bit just to loosen it. And then you can come in here and slowly pull it out like that. This has to be up to get this out. That locks that in there. If you notice, we have a square O-ring there, and you have another one, a round one towards the end and another round one towards the end. So you have two round ones here, one here, and a square one there. So I like the air better when it comes to this. See, I have to keep it pulled to get the bolt all the way out. But this is your park reverse neutral detent. When you move it, click, 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 click. This is what you're feeling. Click, 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 click. Oops. And then we have our, get a rag here and wipe this off. That way we know exactly what this is. It's a number 10 inverted Torx, is what I call them. You see how it looks funny? Doesn't look like a socket. And all the bolts that hold the valve body on are that way. See right there. Funny looking little bolt. You can pull this off. Now when you put this back on, this end has to be in here. Like that. That way this moves in and out with your manual valve, okay? It has to set in there like that. Do you see any more bolts? One more. There.
I don't know. You got me.
Sometimes it's so bright in here, it's hard to see. And we have our beautiful valve body. You can kind of see some blackness to this.
Yeah.
You know, like there's some black
In the
stuff.
corners and everything.
We have our speed sensors, our input and output speed sensors there. We have our seals right here that seal the valve body to the pumps. You can see this right here. This sets in here like that. This sets in here like that. Then we have these here. Now your zip kit, your Sonnax kit will come with different ones of these for this area right here. To your 2/6 clutch, your low reverse clutch, and your lube circuit, and your low reverse clutch here. So your Sonnax kit, your zip kit will come with a different setup right here. These gloves are slippery. Must be some type of fully synthetic fluid in there or something, huh? This thing is really slippery. See how,
Yeah,
I mean, it's just slippery. This thing went way back here. I mean, really slippery. Of course, we have 2 8s here on the side of the, right here. These are the last 2 bolts that I ever tightened when I assembled this back. They are a little bit different length. And these 7mm right here. Now this tranny is being totally tuned by a different gentleman that owns the car. I guess he's hired somebody to tune it. So you can build these trannies as strong as you want to build them, but if the tuner ain't any good, the tranny's doomed. It doesn't matter what you put in the tranny if the tuner is lacking experience. I'm going to take this off. This thing is so slippery. I mean, it's crazy slippery. It's
sliding all over the place.
Oh, I'm telling you, I don't know what's on this thing. But this is your tip-em right here. This is the computer that physically...
This is your tech-em.
What am I said tip-em. We just put a tip-em in your car. That's why I said
exactly. Right.
We've get it mixed up.
With that for a while.
Yeah, we had a problem with Teresa's car. The tip-em going out and causing an alarm to go off. The car start honking down the highway, turning the motor off while you're driving it, all kinds of stuff. So we just got that fixed. But all the programming, this tranny here, the computer's inside the tranny. So this is actually the computer right here. These are all your solenoids under this filter. You can pull this off. Your overhaul kit will come with a new filter here. Screen assembly. And you can see here, these are all your solenoids through here. Now, these are little micro pillow switches right here. When you push on them, they click. Really hard to feel them or hear them even, but I can barely feel them. So, but they do have overhaul kits where you can pull these rings out right here and put the new little pillows in here. Interesting. Sorry it's been a week since y'all have heard from us. A lot of things have been going on. I just had some dental work done that really tore me up. So I'm over the pain on that part. Actually, what do they call them? Implants?
Yeah.
I had some dental implants put in.
Now we're on the down low. Just waiting for the teeth.
Yeah, just waiting for the teeth to come in. Now these are doweled, so sometimes you got to pry them apart a little bit. Find your favorite little spot. There we go. Like I said, a lot of things we're going to be doing to the valve body. A lot of the zip kit stuff. A lot of stuff in the zip kit to put in these. You can see the dowels here. Look through here and see if all of our check balls are there. Thought I brought my orange little screwdriver, but I think I took it in the house. Unfortunately, I did. We want to look and see if all the check balls are here. Should be 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Rolled out. 6, 7. They're right there. So we got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to show you this little hole if I can find it again. That's really bad about being plugged up or almost beat shut. When they designed the plate, let me find it. There it is, right there. You can see that little tiny hole right there. If you notice, the machining of the plate almost beat it shut. That thing is almost tiny. I mean, it's a really, really tiny hole to start with. And then when they made the plate, they almost beat it shut. So you always want to check that right there and drill that out to about 20 thousandths, 25 thousandths will be fine. Trying to see if it showed it any better from one side to the other. It really doesn't, but that's a tiny hole, so you always want to check that and make sure that's not beat shut. A lot of zip kit items are going to be going in here. Your end plug leaking plugs right here. They have O-rings on them that go in here to keep the end plugs from leaking. Just a lot of nice pieces that's going to go in the valve body from your zip kit. This tranny here takes about 12 hours to build if you do it right. Take your time, set everything up, change all the seals and everything. And then we can come in here.
No, we cannot. No. I'm going to be back here.
I got an apron, Teresa.
No, I'm good.
But what we're going to do, since this has never been apart, we're going to air check this thing while everything's still together. So we're going to come in here to this hole. We're going to check the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to get me. I jerked. Nice and tight. No leak. And we're going to come here to the 3rd, 5th, and reverse clutch. You can actually see that stuff moving in this drum right here if you look at it. See that right down through there? That's nice and tight. This one here, you can see it barely move. And then our 4, 5, 6 clutch is down here. You won't be able to see it move at all. You're just going to be able to hear it. Nice and tight. Look at that. No leak at all. And then we come down here to our, make sure this is right, get this mixed up. This is going to be our low reverse clutch. Actually, excuse me, got that wrong. This is our 2/6 clutch. You can see it move right there. That actually sprayed me. 2/6 clutch right there. This is your low reverse clutch right here on the bottom. This is your lube circuit. Not going to pressurize nothing. Then you got your low reverse clutch again, small piston. Right there. So everything seems to be air checking nice and tight in here. So let's just see if we got a lot of wear.
Let's find the culprit.
Find the culprit. We have our lockup O-ring right here. Get that off there. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is a round O-ring, but it's flat on the edge, on this edge here now. It's not round no more. Really flat through here. So that tells you there. Once it gets shrinks up enough to get below this right here, then it doesn't seal anymore at all. It has to stay above this to seal in the converter. And then we have a snap ring right here for our front seal. These seals go in and out real easy. If it wasn't for this snap ring, So I'll try to pop that out. I can't get my screwdriver in there. I have a tool to actually hook it, but if it wasn't for the snap ring, the seal would just blow right out, because you can put that seal in with your thumbs. Just pop it in. You don't even need anything to put it in there. Now what we got here, we have our 3rd, 5th, and reverse clutch here on the top. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch on the bottom right here. You can take and stick this right here back on here, and then we can air check that, which I do every one of them before I put it together. And this is how I actually check my clearances and stuff too, because I'll hook my dial caliper. I have a plate that actually goes on here. Let me see if I can, actually, where did I do with it? Shoulder's a little weak this morning, feeling. And then we can set this on there. I can take this and put it up here on our clutch. We can take and zero this out. And then we're going to come in here and watch what our 3rd, 5th, and reverse clutch does. If you notice, we got about 85 thousandths clearance right there. And we can take this back off, and then we're going to pull this out right here. Now if you notice, this snap ring right here has to go in a certain way. There is no groove in this lug for that snap ring right there. If you take and stick this snap ring in over that, then the snap ring is going to come out. Let me show you what it looks like. See, it's even hard to get it in there when it's like that. Look here. See how that doesn't set in there? It'll just pull out. See that? If you look here, see, this is the snap ring groove, but this one's below it. It will not go in there. So the opening of the snap ring has to go in between those two. Like that right there. Now this is our piece I was talking about right here from Sonnax. That's going to be shorter and a lot stronger. That way we can actually add more clutches to this drum right here. One more clutch is better than not one more clutch. If you come in and look at this clutch right here, this is your 3rd, 5th, and reverse clutch. If you look at this, wiped out. So you definitely want to try to get an extra clutch in there. We're going to be doing away with the wave and then adding an extra clutch and steel.
I know, I hear something too. Please go look.
Let me go see if somebody's here.
Yeah, I know the door deal hadn't went off, but it sure sounds like something's going on.
Sorry for the interruption. Nobody here but Annie. Huh. Annie would be barking normally, but...
Right, but my ears are hearing something.
Yes. So you want to keep your snap rings with your clutch packs because they are different thicknesses. But this is the piece right here that we're going to be adding from Sonnax 2. If you look down here, this snap ring is the exact same way. There's no groove for it right here. So you have to put the opening right here. And then of course you get this back on here. Turn her on. Set that down on there. Zero it out. And you're going to come in here and you're going to check that clearance. Always let it relax. I think all the clutches are wore on this. Come back, hit it again. It'll always do that slightly go back to zero type thing. Go back. So about 80 thousandths clutch pack clearance on the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch pack. Just remember, the snap ring has to go in a certain area. Get that out of there. See what these clutches look like. Still in decent shape. Always keep your snap ring with your clutch pack. Now when you do air check this drum, I have a tool that I use when I put it back together. I should have showed you before I took it all the way apart. I actually put this tool in here with all the clutches in it and I air check it to make sure that there's no cracks in the drum around the weld right here. I'll kind of show you what it looks like. Kind of put a little oil on that. Be careful. Slide it in there like that. Put your bolt back in here to hold it tight. What we're going to do, we're going to have to put everything back in here real quick. Won't take but a second.
Seconds up.
Seconds up. Well, people say long videos don't matter. So.
No, I know, but I'm just saying seconds up.
Yeah, there's a lot to these.
I know.
These all have to line up the same direction the steels do. You don't want to put them in there any jicky way. Actually, you won't get it together if you do. The main thing is you're going to look for your missing snap ring groove to put that snap ring back in here with the opening right there. See that? And you're going to take and put this back in there. Wiggle it around. And then you're going to take and put this back in there with all the burnt clutches and steels. Same way here, you're going to look for the missing snap ring groove and then you're going to put that in there where the opening's right there. Then you're going to flip this over. And if you notice, it says 1, 2, 3, 4, third, fifth, and reverse. So basically what we're looking for, you can see that little bleed hole right there? That's normal. You're going to get a leak there. But this weld right here is bad about cracking. So you want to come in here and check that. Look at that. If it had a crack around here, that wouldn't have held. It would have just, see, that's holding perfect. Now you get over here, you're going to get a leak off of this. You can hold your finger over that and make it stay. But no leaks around the weld. Looks really nice. So that's a really nice tool to get off eBay or something. And then we have our planetary 6-pinion. Got your sun gear. We'll go either direction. Doesn't matter how you put it in there. Just want to look at your gears. Make sure there's no wobbling, any pitting. Pins ain't turned purple or anything crazy like that. You do have a thrust washer down here and a bearing. Just always remember the way your bearings go. So, of course, we have our 456 clutch here. We could stick this down in here like this, and we should be able to air check that. Same way here. You can stick this on here, bring this all the way to the top, slide it over there, kind of move her around a little bit. Come in here and zero that out like that. And then we can air check this and see what that says. Always like to let it relax, check, reset your gauge a few times because it's going to move around on you. About 40. Quite a bit of play there. But that's how we check our clearances that way. Now this is the drum that we're going to be putting the power glide clutches in. We're going to be putting Sonnax's high capacity pistons and get that out of there. There we go. You can see how tiny these clutches are. Let me go grab a power glide clutch and kind of show you the difference in the size of a power glide clutch. Let me grab a steel too. Make it easier, give you an idea.
Yeah, you were there.
Which they changed it up in here, the drum, because if you look here, the teeth are different. The lugs are different. This won't fit in there. So they actually got different steels, but they're that wide if you look at it. Now here's a power glide clutch. Fits right in there. You can get 7 of these in there, or you can get 7 of these or 6 of these in there, whichever you want to go. But when you do that, if you notice, the inner diameter of the power glide clutch is smaller, and that's where this comes into effect. The Sonnax one, this here is a lot smaller in diameter. That way it fits in there. Of course, the billet shaft, you can see here where GM tried to harden this and to make it stronger. But like Greg says, these break off here, they break off here, they break off here, they break off everywhere. So we definitely want to upgrade that part and get the power glide clutches in there so we can get a lot more surface area. So, of course, we're going to be putting Sonnax bearings back in here. You can see these bearings here, just in there like that. You have another tiny one down in here. Now this is our band, our band for our pump alignment. This sets on here just like this. Just like that, and you tighten it down. That's what lines everything up right there. I hate this electric one, it's just so slow. Now anytime I go to line these up with this band on here, I always have a little bit of movement. Even with this is tight, with a wrench, I still have this movement. So what I do is I move it all the way one direction and I try to split the difference. And then tighten it down. A must. Put on another pair of gloves real quick. These are kind of trashed
Yep, already.
already. But these are the best gloves that I have found to wear. They're the 8s. Which my hand's sweaty, so it's probably going to be a little rough to put them on.
Don't rip it.
Get that thing on there. Look at Annie over there.
Oh, I know she had her head hanging off a while ago in the front.
She's just crashing. She's so funny.
Remember, she's had company all weekend.
Mm-hmm. Well, on our pump assembly, we want to look here for wear. You can see here how we're starting to get quite a bit of wear through here and here. Now, one thing good about it on these items here, we've got a bunch of them in stock. We're not using any remanufactured ones at all. We're using GM brand new only on the bell housing and the pump stators. These are all brand new GM. We also got the Sonnax lube dam that we're going to be putting on the rear planetary. So we've got a bunch of things coming in, and plus a bunch of things that we're going to be ordering. But that's all scarred up through there pretty good.
Yeah, you can see it.
On the pump slide spring right here, we're also going to be using the Sonnax one here. That way it keeps this pump slide back where it can really grab a lot of fluid at higher RPMs. It doesn't compress the spring as easy. Keeps it back where it can really grab a lot. We're also going to be changing the pump rotor right here since we're going to be adding a lot of pressure. They're going to be tuning this thing. So we definitely want a reliable rotor. Going to go to a billet aftermarket rotor too. Always make sure that your pump paddle kit comes with stainless rings. Do not put steel rings back in there. Make sure they're hardened stainless. Big old got a rut all the way around there, right through there, like something got in there.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. You can see how it's wore down.
Yeah.
That one spot right there is already wore down, the bluing.
Mm-hmm.
I seen a guy the other day putting one of these in a transmission. I was watching a video, and it was worse than this, and he was using it. I was like, man, come on. Now, if you notice, we have an O-ring on the back here that's stuck up in here. Get it out of there. There we go. Sets up in there, and we have a Teflon style ring that sits on top of it. On the 4L60s, you have the rubber O-ring, but then you have a metal ring that sets down in there on the 4L60s and stuff, 700s. Of course, we have our pivot pin. This spring does pop off, and it'll clip right on a new one. A lot of times these wear on one side. You'll want to look at it. It'll look brand new on one side. Another side, it'll have a wear spot right here on the bottom where this pump slide started walking around, moving around. So you definitely want to put a new one there. Same way here, you can just feel the indention right here on the bell housing. You can grab that with your fingernail, especially if I had my gloves off, I could really grab it. So definitely going to need a new bell housing and pump stator. And like I said, one thing good about it, we only use GM. So we're not using any rebuilt stuff, because if you think about it, they come in here to machine this, they come in here to machine this, but I haven't seen anybody yet that comes in here and rebores this stuff and checks this stuff out. They just hand you this back with a new machining surface here. So that means once you pay all that money and you get it back, you're going to have to do a vacuum test on these valves with your Sonnax vacuum and test all this stuff to make sure these bores are good. If not, if they're wore out, then this piece is no good, even though it's been machined. So that's why we're staying with new stuff before we use any reman stuff. Of course, your shells here, you want to look here and make sure there's no big cuts where your clutches have been getting in here and grabbing. We have another bearing here. Same way with this one here. You want to make sure your clutches ain't starting to embed in this or anything like that. Looks really good. We have this bushing right here is special. If you notice, it looks like a golf ball. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
These bushings have grooves in them, but that is a special bushing. It is a golf ball bushing. Looks like a golf ball. And then, of course, all your bushings on these things here, they don't set flush when you put them in. All my bushing drivers, if you notice, have a shank right here to where the bushing sets to here, and then the rest of it sets the bushing below surface. So these preset the depth on your bushing when you put it in. These bushing drivers do. So you want to check all of that stuff. And of course we have old Big Yellow here. My shoulders still don't like this thing. Like I said, a lot of people don't know I just had shoulder replacement. It's been 10, 11 months now, I think.
It'll be a year.
Will it be?
Yeah. After Mother's Day.
Unbelievable they can do that stuff.
Oh, you popped me with fluid.
Ooh, all over your gangster shirt.
Yeah, I know.
Huh. Well, here's our 2/6 clutch here. Now this snap ring here can go anywhere in the drum. It doesn't have a certain location it has to go. It can go anywhere you want to put it. Same way with this one. I air check it to the port. Now on these here, they do have bleed orifices on this side here. So when you go to pressurize this, it is not going to stay pressurized. It's not going to go up. It's not going to pressurize and seal because it's going to go at the back right here. I think this is the biggest clutch in the tranny, the 2/6 clutch. Sometimes you'll get these in here and these waves are broken. I keep these waves in stock too because they come in broken. Always keep your snap rings with your clutch packs. I always say that. And then you have this beauty right here. This can be a bear to get back in, but once you do a bunch of them, you kind of get an idea on how to do it. And that's what you're going to be fighting. What it does is, get this out of the piston out here. When you're setting this in there and you're trying to put the snap ring in, this tries to move and get under the snap ring groove. It tries to get over there like that. And then the snap ring won't fit in the groove. So you're always having to try to push it into the middle to work your snap ring all the way around. So that's the biggest problem that I see. Of course, this sets in here like that. Get in there.
Nope.
I know it set in there like that. And get it in there. There we go.
There you go.
I just couldn't get it. And your snap ring. So keep your snap rings with where they go. I always come in here and Scotch-Brite these areas right here where the aluminum is, where the new seal is going to be running. Just take a piece and just run it around there, clean it up real nice. If you notice, this bushing here is flush. If you notice, this bushing here is countersunk. So you got to be careful on everything. This is your low reverse clutch here. Get this out of here. Can't find one. I think I took my little screwdriver in the house.
And why would you do that?
Because I was adjusting the sprinkler nozzles yesterday. And that's what I used. And I think it's still in the house. Now this snap ring here will go any direction. Doesn't matter on your low reverse clutch. This clutch, if you notice how dark it looks almost like it's burnt up. But you can take a brand new clutch, soak it in tranny fluid, pull it out, and it'll look just like that. It'll look that black. Keep your snap rings with your clutches, like I said.
Sound like a broken record.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Of course, we have our one-way clutch down in here. It's a Sprag. And you can I always take my snap ring pliers and you kind of hook that.
One must be getting up.
Come on. There we go. Just to get that out of there to show you. Just remember on this here, when you take that snap ring out, this falls downward. If you notice, I'm going to pick it up. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So, to put this back together, you're going to have to pick that up. Hold it up with your finger. Set that down in there to get your snap ring back in there. See, it already fell down. I can't get it up in there. There we go. Just like that. You have to pick it up to get it back up in there. And then you have to take this snap ring out right here to get the piston, molded piston, out of there to replace that. Okay. Now we do have a bushing down in here. See the bushing? Mm-hmm. Now being that it's a 2-wheel drive, no seal. If it had a 4-wheel drive, it would have a seal here. Remember that. And then like I was telling you on our dipstick deal here, this you would stick in all the way to the bottom of the pan and it would be at 90 when it's full. So you have to stick it all the way in till it touches the bottom of the pan. And you can stick this in here to see where the bottom of the pan is, so 90. So you'll fill it up to where the fluid level gets to 90. Real simple. You can get these off the Matco tool truck, maybe off Snap-on. And we have a big old bearing back here. It sits down the back of the case. We have our lower planetary assembly here. We do have another bearing right here. If you notice, this bearing has a lip on it. So you want to watch what you're doing with your bearings. We have a snap ring down in here. And then you're going to pull this out like this. Okay. Now you got this ring right here. Comes off like that. If you notice, the ring is flat. It's beveled, got a lip on it. The flat goes down. It does not go like this, it goes just like that. Set this back on there. Put your snap ring in. You do have a bearing here. You want to look at the gears, make sure there's no pitting. Pins ain't turning purple or anything like that. Of course, this is our Sonnax lube dam right here. We're going to be taking this off, cleaning all the metal out behind it, and then putting the Sonnax cover back on here. You have a bushing here. If you notice how far it's sunk down in there. And the reason is, look at the bearing. It's got a lip on it right there, none there. The lip goes down. So if you put the bushing flush, you're never going to get it in there. So your bushing driver will have a countersunk built in the bushing driver. We'll put the bushing where it needs to be. So just a lot of stuff to these 6-speeds, huh, Teresa?
Yeah.
It really is. A lot of updates you can do to them to make them stronger. But like I was saying earlier, I can build this tranny just as strong as I can build it. But when I hand it to the customer, they take it and put it in their vehicle, and old Joey gets over here and starts laptoping this thing, and he makes a mistake. Your $4,000 tranny or whatever it costs a gentleman is toast. So that's the one thing. We don't like doing carryouts, but this gentleman says that he's got a really good tuner. But one thing I've learned, tuning transmissions, even though you're laptoping them, if you don't have a pressure gauge on this unit, you physically don't know what you're doing. You can laptop and guess all day long. Shifts feel good, but you look at your gauge, you're 10 psi low, you're 20 psi low. Anything like that can happen. That can tear this high dollar tranny up, and then the customer can come back and say, hey, Richard, you didn't do it right. So that's why on these computer controlled trannies, the programmer has everything to do with programming these, just like Greg says at Sonnax. He says the exact same thing. So, but anyway, we want to thank Miss Teresa. We want to thank all of our supporters. Don't forget to subscribe, push your notification bell. We want to thank Annie. Look at her. She's plumb crashed out. Hey, don't forget to go check out 4D Motorsports. This is a really good family group. This is our daughter's page along with her husband and family. So don't forget to go check it out. Don't forget to subscribe, push the notification bell. We're really excited to be here. Have a great day.